The house that never sleeps. What if you move into a cheap house and slowly realize the house is watching you? What if it knows your name, your thoughts, and your fear? My name is Adam, and this is the story I never wanted to tell. Even today, when the night becomes quiet, my heart starts beating fast. This story is about a house that never sleeps. I moved to a small town to start a new life. I wanted peace. I wanted silence. The town was calm and simple. People here were polite but distant. Shops closed early, and after sunset, the streets became empty. At the far end of the town, there was an old house. It looked different from all the others. Its walls were cracked. The paint was falling off. The windows were always dark, even during the day. I asked the landlord about it. "Why is this house so cheap?" I asked. He looked at me for a long moment and then said, "Because people don't stay long." I smiled. "I don't mind. I live alone." He slowly gave me the keys and whispered, "Just don't open the door at night." I laughed. I thought he was joking. The first day was normal. I cleaned the house and arranged my things. The house felt cold, even though it was summer. The air was heavy, like it was pressing on my chest. At night, I cooked dinner and watched TV. Around midnight, I felt very sleepy and went to bed. Everything was silent. Then suddenly, knock, knock, knock. I opened my eyes. My heart jumped. I looked at the clock. It was 3 a.m. Who could it be at this time? I thought. The knocking stopped. I waited. Nothing happened. After some time, I slept again. The next night, the same thing happened. Same knock. Same time. This time, a voice followed the knock. "Adam." I sat up in my bed. My blood felt cold. "Adam, open the door." No one in this town knew my name. I never told anyone. I stayed quiet. My hands were shaking. The voice became louder and angry. "Adam, I know you are inside." Suddenly, the lights went off. The room became dark. My phone screen turned black. I could hear my own breathing. Then I heard footsteps. They were not outside. They were inside the house. I slowly stood up and walked toward the living room. My legs felt weak. The front door was locked. The windows were closed. But the footsteps were still there. I looked at the floor and froze. There were wet footprints. They were leading from the door to the hallway toward me. A cold wind touched my face. I felt someone standing behind me. A voice whispered in my ear, "You should not live here." I screamed loudly. Suddenly the lights came back on. The footprints were gone. The house was silent again. The next morning I went to my neighbor, an old woman who lived next door. Her eyes looked tired, like she had not slept for years. I told her everything. Her face turned pale. "That house," she said slowly, "was home to a family many years ago." "What happened to them?" I asked. "They died inside the house." Every single one of them. Since then, the house wakes up every night at 3 a.m. I laughed nervously. It's just my imagination. She looked straight into my eyes and said, "No. The house chooses who can stay." I wanted to leave, but I had no money. I decided to stay for one more night. That night, the house felt different. The walls made strange sounds like breathing. The clock ticked loudly. The air felt heavier than before. At exactly 3 a.m., the bedroom door slowly opened. A dark shadow entered the room. It was tall and thin. I could not see its face, but I felt its eyes on me. It spoke in a deep, cold voice. "You are the new one." The shadow touched my forehead. Suddenly, I saw terrible images. Blood on the walls, people screaming, darkness everywhere. I could not scream, I could not move. Then everything went black. What if you wake up after a nightmare and realize it was not a dream? What if the house has already accepted you as one of its own? When I opened my eyes, my head was spinning. My body felt heavy like I had not slept for days. I was lying on the cold floor of my bedroom. Morning light was coming through the window, but the room still felt dark. For a moment, I thought everything was a bad dream. But then I saw the mark. There was a dark handprint on my forehead. I touched it with shaking fingers. It was cold. Very cold. I stood up and looked around. The house looked normal again. No shadows, no strange sounds. But I felt different. Something inside me had changed. I looked into the mirror. My face looked pale. My eyes were darker, tired, and afraid. It felt like the house was looking at me through my own eyes. "I am leaving today," I said to myself. I packed my bag quickly. I did not eat. I did not sit. I just wanted to escape. As soon as I opened the front door, I froze. The landlord was standing there. He was smiling. "You are leaving so early," he said calmly. I felt angry. "You knew something was wrong with this house." He slowly nodded. "Yes, I did." "Why didn't you tell me?" I shouted. He looked past me at the house and said, "The house chooses. We only watch." I pushed him aside and ran. But something was wrong. The street looked empty. Too empty. No cars, no people, no sound. Even the sky looked gray. I started walking faster. Then I started running. No matter where I went, every road led back to the same place. The house. I was breathing hard now. My heart was racing. "This is not real," I said. "This cannot be real." Suddenly, the ground shook. The door of the house opened by itself. A loud voice came from inside. "Come back!" The walls started moving. The windows looked like eyes. The house was alive. I ran inside without thinking. Big mistake. The door slammed shut behind me. The house changed. The walls were no longer hard. They felt soft, like skin. The floor moved under my feet. The lights turned red. Voices were everywhere. You belong here. You are one of us now. You cannot leave. I covered my ears and screamed, but the voices were inside my head. I fell to my knees. Then I remembered the old woman's words. The house wakes up at 3 a.m. I looked at my watch. 2:58 a.m. 2 minutes left. I slowly stood up. My fear turned into anger. You want me? I shouted. Come and take me! The house shook violently. Shadows appeared on the walls. Faces formed and screamed. The same dark shadow from last night appeared in front of me. You have seen our memories, it said. Now, you will stay with us. I took a deep breath. No, I said. This ends now. The shadow moved closer. I felt cold again. My vision became blurry. Then the clock hit 3 a.m. Everything stopped. Silence. The shadows disappeared. The walls became normal. The house stopped breathing. I fell to the floor. When I opened my eyes again, I was outside. Morning sunlight touched my face. Birds were singing. The town looked normal again. I stood up quickly and turned around. The house was gone. There was only an empty field. No walls, no door, no windows. Just grass. People started coming out of their homes. Cars passed by. Life continued like nothing had happened. I left the town that same day. I never looked back. But the story did not end there. Even now, in my new home, far away from that town, something strange happens. Every night, at exactly 3 a.m., I hear knocking on my door. Knock, knock, knock. And a familiar voice whispers softly, Adam, you can never leave. If this horror story scared you and helped you learn English in an easy way, subscribe to Smart English Official. Like this video. Comment below. Do you think Adam escaped? Or is the house still following him? More easy English horror stories are coming soon.